Hi, I'm Natalie Cutler-Welsh, and welcome to a Google Hangout on Air with Go-To Girl, social media, and networking, all about making social media and networking easy, fun, and fabulous. And today I'm talking to the fabulous Soness Stevens. She's a lovely friend of mine from Show and Tell Us, that's her business name, and she is actually a coach for TEDx speakers. How cool! And she also tutors at the university as a professor, teaching people about presentation and communication skills. So welcome to Soness, who's going to talk to us today to share her 3 tips about how to work the room at a networking event.
Thank you
Hi, Soness.
so much, Natalie. Hi, I'm so excited to be here today with you. I love what you're doing and I love what you're creating, and your videos are fantastic.
Thank you.
So, so I'm just trying to gauge, what it is and how people feel about networking in general. It often depends on their personality and characteristics, right? So, would you say that maybe Natalie, on the on the scale of introvert to extrovert, which side would you lie on?
Well, I am definitely on the extrovert side of things.
The extra extrovert. I love it. So you love going to events, you love meeting people, and you're a social butterfly. Well, what about the people who are not on that side of the scale? So most people meet me and they think, oh, Sinus, you're awesome. Thank you. at meeting people and talking to people. And what do you think about me, though? Do you think I'm an introvert or an extrovert?
Straight away, I'd say extrovert because you're quite outgoing and you seem really comfortable talking to people.
Yeah, I get that a lot because I do. I meet people all the time. I have a nationwide broadcast TV show, and so I'm always at events and always meeting and talking to people. So people think I'm an extrovert. But as Susan Cain says, you have introverts and extroverts, and I sort of lie in the middle. I go between the two. So I can appreciate both sides of the coin and how we can really truly connect with other people, whether it's on stage at a TEDx stage, online on stage, or the stage of meeting people one-to-one. So today I would love to share with you 3 simple tips for truly connecting, because that's what we all really want, right? When we think about, shy, the opposite of shy is, what do you think?
Outgoing.
Outgoing, exactly. But what I like to think is the opposite of shy, we have these emotions. Shy could be an actual emotion. So have you ever been happy?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been sad?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been in love?
Yes.
Have
Currently
you
in love.
currently in love? Have you ever been not so in love?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's the same thing with shy. The opposite of shy is actually connect. What we really want to do is connect with other people. So how do we give ourselves that ability to connect with other people? These 3 simple tips will get you started right now. So the first one I'd like to talk about is time. Give yourself the permission to take the time to get used to the playing field of networking. What did your mama tell you about talking to strangers?
Well, I don't know, but the saying is, don't talk to strangers, right?
That's right. My mama said, she said, never ever talk to strangers. And Will Rogers says that strangers are friends you just haven't met yet. So how do we turn these strangers into the new best friends that we've always wanted to talk with? Well, rapport begins before you walk through the door. I'll say that again. Rapport, that's that connection you have with other people, that begins before you walk through the door. That's right, connect online. Now, I know, and maybe you remember from the dating times, but I know that most people, when they go on a date, what's the first thing they do before they go on a date?
They want to look good.
They want to look good. But you know what the first thing I used to do is I used to Google and check out my potential dates. And
Say a
you
blind date.
blind date or anything, like you want to know more about who you're going to meet. So, you check out their Facebook profile, you check out their Google, you do. And it's the same thing before you go to any event. You go to the Facebook event page and you click like when people are going so that you can actually start to understand and know who they are and connect with them. And I like to say, hi, I'm Sonez. What are you most looking forward to at this event? What would you like to hear about? And you start a dialogue so that you can truly begin connecting because rapport begins before you walk through the door. Go ahead and
That,
really truly
that's
connect.
actually really cool because when I run my networking events, often I'll
Mm,
have a Facebook at an event, and I'll actually encourage people. I'll say, comment below and let us know what your business is, or let us know what your goal is for, what type of people are you wanting to connect with at the event, to kind of encourage the dialogue before the event.
Absolutely. So when you get there, you're actually, it's so funny. I speak at a lot of events, and before I speak, I actually do comment on who's coming, and, I start a dialogue beforehand. And there was this one time, this woman came running up to me, and she gave me this huge hug. She's like, Soness! And I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I know this woman? I'm like racking my brain. And I was like, oh, through Facebook, we've had such a great connection through Facebook that she really felt like we really knew each other. And you know what, actually we did. And you know me, I love big hugs. So, we really start to build relationships. And don't you sometimes feel that way about your friends on Facebook you haven't seen for a long time? You feel like you're connected with them on a daily basis because you see what they're up to, and you feel like you have even a stronger connection. So that's how it works for your networking as well, and for your speaking. And even before and at the door of the venue, be sure to connect and say hi. So my friend Srini from Blogcast FM, or the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast now, it changed over. Now, when he goes to an event, he had this one event. He stood at the door and he shook hands with every single person coming through. And he said, hi, I'm Srini. I'm sure we're going to meet later, so let's meet now. Met everybody at the door. And that's a technique that I tell all of my speakers to use, as well as I practice too. When the other speakers are running around checking their slide deck, I'm like, forget this. Let's just start networking and really talk to people and connect, because I don't want to talk to strangers, and I certainly don't want to sit down next to strangers at an event either. So how do we really connect? It's just by going out and meeting people. So go ahead and really connect. And because we really do want that, we want to move. So let's just do that. So any questions on that?
No, so that's cool. So you're talking about kind of do your homework, like,
Mm.
suss them out a little bit ahead of time, whether it be an event and you can go and see who's actually attending.
Mm.
And then then you can put faces to names when you meet them, and you know a little bit about them, so you can get the conversation going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And getting that conversation going is our second step. The second step is curiosity. Being genuinely curious about other people. And actually, I like to start that intention before going into an event. So before I go into an event, actually, it's funny, I actually have a sketch pad. I actually draw out the events in my sketch pad and watercolors and try to decide what kind of people I really want to connect with. Now, at a networking event, I don't want to talk to everybody. I don't want to connect with every single person in the room. That's not my goal. In fact, I just want to connect with the right people to be with, people I can build long-term relationships with, people that I genuinely have something in common with, that we can go the distance. So, thinking about before you go in there, get curious about who do you really want to connect with. And maybe it's only one person. And make that what your intention is for the whole entire event. And then when you do meet that person, be genuinely curious about them. Ask them questions. At events, I meet a lot of people, but I don't actually talk about myself so much. And people are like, oh, so Soness, what do you do? And I said, well, it's kind of interesting to explain. Let me see if I can explain it better. Please, first tell me about what do you do? And maybe that'll make it easier. And they start talking, and they talk and talk and talk. Because who is the most important person in the world? You. Or me. Or you know what I mean. The most important person in the world to any person is themselves.
Yeah.
So the more that you let them talk about themselves, the more they'll actually feel like they're connected with you. Because, wow, they had a really great conversation with you. Because they got to talk. And most people just want to be heard. They just want to be heard. So make sure that you connect with them one-to-one with genuine curiosity. Then, when they do ask you some questions, you can start to sort of connect with them better, create better rapport by answering in a way that they can relate. And even when it comes down to what do you do? I know, Natalie, you do so much. Then that way you can start tailoring your talk to something that's going to relate to them. Now, I've worked with TED speakers around the world.
Yeah, one other thing that just that relates to that is when you let them speak first, as an extrovert, when you let them speak first, you can kind of figure out what type of person they are, and you can be in better rapport with them, right? Because looking all excited and enthusiastic. Maybe if they're a very calm, orderly person, you might
Mm.
want to like bring it down a notch, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, bring it down because rapport is also matching and mirroring what the other person is doing and their tone of voice and their intonation as well. So we want to work with how we connect with them. Actually, I talked a lot about that in my book, Speak Like a Ninja. It's actually about the 4 communication techniques that Buddha used in communication. So if you want to think about the standard principles, oh, you got to check it out. Let me know. I'll send you a copy. I think you'll
Awesome.
really enjoy it.
Showandtell.us. Is that
show
your
and
website?
showandtell.us. And yeah, please, everybody, come check out the website and come check out the book. It's maybe about 100 pages. It's nice, it's great, but it's all about the 4 Buddhist principles of communication and really about honoring the other person and mirroring back to them and connecting with them. So, I mean, think about it. What we learned in NLP, Buddha's been practicing from eons ago, right? So how do we really connect that way? That's a great question. Excellent question.
I wanted to ask you about 2 more things. One is about how to gracefully exit a conversation. If you're talking to someone and it's all going well, but you want to move on and possibly meet someone else, are there some do's and don'ts? Are there some good ways to do that?
Really just be straight about it. You don't have to make up a whole bunch of crazy excuses, but you just be, like, I really enjoyed talking with you. It was really great meeting you. Let's continue this dialogue online, or let's continue this later, or, um, I would like to go meet some other people, but I really enjoyed our conversation. So let's catch up later and really be, we no need to be abrupt or rude about it. Thank them for their time because they've given you a gift. Their gift is themselves. Their gift is their time, their focus. So thank them for that, and then continue on to your next place. Another thing, if somebody's being like an energy vampire, is giving the gift to someone else. Giving the gift of vampire exit strategies to someone else. If you see someone is struggling in a conversation, like, oh my God, or that person can be quite draining or captivating that one person, you can also excuse them from the conversation. It's like, oh, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but there's somebody I really think you need to meet. Would you mind if I borrowed her for 1 minute or a couple of minutes? Thank you so much. Excuse me. And giving that person another graceful exit. You can do that. It's a strategy that actually, I use with my speakers when they get monopolized, and I can pull them into the next conversation. Friends, and you can also use it on the streets when you see another person is being harassed. So I actually have done that in the streets of Shibuya. I've seen somebody, approach a girl, and I'm like, oh, Yukiko, come over here. And they're like, and they don't know which way to go, but they know they don't want to be with that guy. And so it's a nice self-defense mechanism, but also helping someone else escape a situation where they could feel a little confined. So give the gift of an exit.
And exit, or else just the skill in itself of reintroducing someone, if you're at an event, reintroducing someone, even if you just met them, to somebody else, it is a gift because you're being generous and you're
Yes.
connecting them, especially if it is like a relevant connection. If you know their business and you know that this would be somebody that would be really great for them to meet with, and even if you can't remember their name, you can just say, "Have you 2 minutes?" And then they kind of carry on the conversation.
Absolutely.
Reintroducing is really
I
cool too.
love reintroducing people. I pretty much make it a daily habit to introduce people, like 1 to 2 people a day via social networking. So, like, oh, I think you would really get along with so-and-so. So I introduce them as well as introducing at networking events. Like, oh, even if you've just met somebody, turning around and saying, have you met? And it's a great way to connect people. And it's another great exit strategy. Like, oh, I see somebody over there. I know they really need to meet somebody. Could you please excuse me? Let's continue this conversation later. Another technique as well is also about connecting with people long term. Now, a lot of networking events, you want to hand out as many business cards as possible and take as many back as you can. Oh my goodness. I meet a lot of people, and I have stacks of business cards. I don't even know what to do with them. And I know there's like great organizational systems, but do you really want to stay in touch with all these people? And in Japan, there's no law against automatically subscribing people to your list. So in Japan, if I hand out a business card, it's pretty likely that they're just going to automatically subscribe me to their list. And trying to find the kanji, the Japanese character for unsubscribe is virtually impossible because they don't always put it at the bottom of their mails. In fact, they don't. You have to go through this whole entire thing on their website. So
So
I'm
what do you do
reluctant.
instead? Handing out cards. Raise your
Yeah,
hand.
you know what? And of course, it is proper manners, and you're supposed to hand out business cards, and there are so many rules that come along with your business card. But if I meet somebody and I really truly want to connect with them, I take a selfie right then and there of the two of us together. I'm like, all right, let's just take a photo. I'm not going to upload this to social media. I'm just going to email it to you right now. And I have them enter their email address into my smartphone and then mail it right away. I email with our names, both of our names. And sometimes we'll get a group photo. If we like everybody in the group, we'll send it out to everybody at the same time. But you know within 30 seconds of meeting somebody if you want to create a long-term connection with someone. So really getting people who are really genuinely connected with you, that should be the type of person you should continue communication with. Not everybody at the event. And of course, you know, you have to hand out your business cards, and it's obligatory. But also connecting with that person on social media is fine, and doing that immediately too. Oh, okay, I've got my smartphone here. Let's connect on Facebook. Oh, and most people can't find me unless we have a mutual friend because I have a TV show. So I had a lot of fans trying to connect with me on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't want to give everybody instant access to everything in my world. So that also gives me an excuse to hand them the phone, and they can enter in their names, which gives me a second chance to remember their name. And I have the decisive power. The power is in my hands to choose who I become friends with. You know, yes, I like you. All right, we can continue this way. If I really like you, we'll take a photo and I'll send you an email right now.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, when we meet in person, we'll get a photo together.
Definitely. Well, we have this this everlasting video together, so this will be even better than that. But I mean, I get to see you all the time anyways in our mastermind group, so I'm so happy. I can't wait to see you in person.
I know. And actually, one of the challenges that I have for my Seven Secrets course
Mm.
members is actually to attend a networking event or a workshop, and for this challenge, and also to go away with three. I tell them to come away with having met at least three people that
Mm.
you're really excited to get back in touch with, and it doesn't have to be
Mm.
a potential client or customer. It can be someone who
Mm.
could be a mentor, someone that you just really resonated with. Because I love Soness, how you mentioned, like in 30 seconds, you know, like you kind of get that feeling. You know whether
Mm.
this relationship is going to last. And then, of course, you need to make it last either by reconnecting with them on social media or sending them an email or meeting up for a coffee later on. But like you
Mm.
said, you don't need to connect with everyone in the room, just a few key people, right?
Mm. And it's great, you know, it's great when you can as well connect with those right people. In fact, another technique that's going to be really fun for you, for everyone here, is knowing the organizer. You can even send a contact to the organizer and say, hey, you know, my name is Soness, and I don't know many people at your event. Do you have anybody that you would like to introduce me to? And so finding that organizer, and as an organizer of the event as well, saying, you know what, I think you should meet this person. And that's, again, rapport begins before you walk through the door. So
Love it.
making that connection beforehand. You know, I think these networking events, people can be so goal oriented on the number of people you can meet, but it's not about the number of people that you meet, rather the quality of the connections and relationships that you build. Networking is relationship building. It's not about meeting people. It's about creating relationships. And I love creating relationships. It's so funny. I was speaking at an event a couple weeks ago, and I watched all the speakers go away and pitch and pitch and pitch. And by the end of it, I thought, you know what? These people have listened all day to pitches. And I just walked up there and said, here's my email. If you want to connect with me, connect with me. I want to build relationships. And I got so many beautiful, heartfelt emails from people directly to my inbox. That's what I want to create, whether I'm speaking or in the audience, participating and networking. Just about the relationship building. Yeah.
And
And
now, speaking of presenting, so
mm,
you've got a course right now, don't you, that teaches people how to better present?
I do.
Tell us
So,
about it.
well, I mean, what does it take to really communicate and connect with other people? It takes confidence and really having confidence in your communication skills. And I believe that anywhere we go, whether it's a TEDx stage or an online webinar stage or a communication from an audience of 1,000 to 1 should be with great communication skills. And I believe that we should be able to stand and deliver our messages with confidence. So I created a 6-week course called Stand and Deliver, Making Your Talks TED-Worthy. And this is every communication should be TED-worthy. Every communication should give an idea worth spreading to other people. So for the first 6 weeks of our course, we'll go through, there are 2 videos a week. There's a theory, there's an action video, you get theory sheets, you get action sheets, and a community to connect with and get coaching, to work through your talk, work through your ideas, so that you can communicate on the best level possible. It's interesting because the people who are doing this are not just TEDx speakers. A lot of them are people who want to do webinars or people who just want to gain confidence in communications. I speak a lot on empowering women in Japan. And now I've been asked to speak in other countries as well. Like, wow, this is really growing. And I do speak in other countries, and I'll be speaking in California next year as well. So about empowering women, and what they really want to do is have more strength in their communications. So this course will teach you to have that strength and confidence. Yeah, it's a powerful thing. It can even save your life. It can even save your life. No, I'm serious. I'm saying this from like real practical experience. It happened in I was traveling and I almost got robbed and kidnapped. But by having the confidence to speak from my true voice and from my heart, and doing it for so long, I was able to stand up and say, no, let me out. So powerful communication skills. Stand and Deliver. Check it out on www.showandtell.us, and you are going to love it. I'll send you a link for that as well.
Cool.
And I also have free training as well. If you'd like to come and check out the 3 training videos, how to communicate and connect with 100% of your audience. That is the training you're going to want to take. It's free.
I love that. I've seen that video. That is definitely awesome. You should definitely check that video out. Okay, thank you so much, Soness.
Thank you so much.
Google Hangout. So we talked about curiosity, time, and also doing your homework. So doing a bit of research before the event, and a few tips that went along with that. One last tip that I got from a great guy, Cam Culkin, who's an amazing speaker. He goes to an event and he gives out always 2 business cards, one for the person, and he says, this one's for you and this one's for you to hand on to someone else. So I think that's a really cool thing. Cool idea. Okay,
that
thanks
is
everyone
fantastic.
for listening to this lovely Google Hangout all about offline networking. Thanks so much.
Thank you.